Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of MDM Woodworking. Today I'm going to show you how I made a cutting board using walnut and epoxy. Here's what our finished product's going to look like. Hopefully you learned something new. I tried something a little bit different this time. If you end up liking the video, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And thanks for watching. All right here, so I got some pieces of walnut that I've had previously cut and left over from a different project. As you can see, it's got that live edge on the inside, so that's where we're going to be putting the epoxy. My first step is just going to make a nice little form out of this nice smooth melamine board here. Cover it with some block it tape so that the epoxy doesn't stick to it. And then once we get the epoxy ready, we'll pour it. All right, as you can see, both our boards fit nicely into our frame. Next, we need to figure out how much epoxy we're gonna need. In order to do that, we need to find how many cubic inches of our space we got here. And I know that my boards are 1 inch thick, and we have a space that's about 14 inches long by 2 3/4 inches wide. So once we convert that into cubic inches, we can then just determine how many ounces of epoxy we'll need. So one thing I forgot to mention, usually I put a nice little thin bead of silicone caulk in each of these corners to help cut down leaks. But of course I ran out the second I started working on this. So I'm gonna try something different. Just put some painter's tape over all the corners, and we're gonna hope and pray that that holds up. All right, everybody, I can see I got my epoxy ready, got my color ready. Just gotta mix it up real good, and then I'm gonna add it to my mold. Okay, everybody, we're all mixed up. Hopefully we got the right amount. If not, I got a little bit extra on standby, so let's watch the fun. Almost a perfect amount. Just a little extra. So next I'm gonna go over it with a propane torch. Gonna pop all those bubbles. And now we sit and wait. Hopefully nothing leaks. All right, as you can see, everything's looking pretty good so far. So far, we don't have any leaks as well. So we're looking pretty good. We just have a few more hours to wait, and then we'll try to take it out of the mold. All right, we took it out of the mold. The epoxy kind of soaked into the wood a little bit. So we have a little bit of a ridge between the wood and the epoxy here. So I'll take my router that nice and flat on top. Then we'll use the sander to sand it smooth. All right, we routed it flat on both sides. That way we can get it nice and smooth. Then I went ahead and sanded it down all the way up to 220 grit on the wood and 800 grit on the epoxy. I also added a round over edge on both sides. So now we're prepped and ready. We're gonna go ahead and put a little Danish oil on it. And here's our finished product. So hopefully you learned something and enjoyed watching the video on how to make a cutting board. If you use that tape technique, just make sure that you get it nice and tight along all your edges and make sure that's sealed really good. If you liked the video, again, go ahead and subscribe. Please leave any comments. I love constructive criticism, always trying to do better, trying to learn new stuff. So if you have other ideas, please comment that as well. So see you next time.